All right, people, welcome back to the Kaiba Show. And you know what time it is? It's the end of the year. Time to close out 2023. And I will be giving you guys my top 10 movies of the year. So let's get it.
Welcome to the Kaiba
All right, people. So, like I said before, it's that time of the year. So, it's time to give you my top 10. And let's not waste any time. So, let's get right into it. So, coming in at the number 10 spot, we have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. It's not like my favorite in the franchise, but it did its job, and James Gunn delivered a solid movie. It could have been better. There were some elements of the movie that I wasn't feeling. It felt like it was missing something compared to the other two. But I already gave you guys my review on that. But just know, out of the Marvel entries for the new phase, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 was a solid entry, and that's coming in at the number 10 spot. So up next, coming in at the number 9 spot, is we have The Flash for the DCEU. Now, out of the latest movies that we've gotten from the DCEU, The Flash is probably one of my favorite out of the last 3, 4. Michael Keaton and Supergirl definitely saved the movie for me. If it wasn't for those elements, The Flash probably wouldn't have been that good and probably wouldn't have made my top 10 list. So coming in at number 9 is going to be The Flash. Now, this list that I did this year is probably going to shock you guys because I want to say this is the year of animation for solid movies. So coming in at the number 8 spot is It's Me, Mario. That's right. Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers took the world by surprise. We thought, it was probably going to be good and do money in the box office, but we didn't know it was going to be that good and make the amount of money that it did. So coming in at the number 8 spot is going to be the Mario Brothers. Next on the list at number 7 is going to be your boy Keanu Reeves with John Wick 4. This once again was a solid movie in the franchise. Besides the ending of the movie, which felt a little over the top with certain elements that happen at the end. When you see the movie, if you haven't seen it already, you'll know what I'm talking about. It just was exaggerated elements. But other than that, John Wick 4 was solid. It might be my favorite one. I gotta rewatch the first 3 again, but it might be my favorite one in the franchise. They're talking about doing a John Wick 5. I don't want them to overkill it. But coming in at the number 7 spot is going to be John Wick 4. So coming in at number 6 is going to be our favorite mutants that love pizza and know ninjutsu and kick butt is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutant Mayhem. This was a very, very solid movie, good entry in the Turtle universe. My only gripe with the movie was probably how they went about the villain at the end. But like I said, this was like the year of animation. There was some good animated films that came out and deserved to be on my top 10. So coming in at the number 6 spot is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And coming in at number 5 is, for me, this might be higher on other people's lists, but for me, it's going to be your boy Christopher Nolan with Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer was a good movie. It was a little bit too long for my liking for the story wise. If the movie was shaved like maybe 50 minutes, it probably would have been a lot better. But the ending for me was like dragged out. The movie was close to 3 hours, if not 3 hours. So like they could have shaved like 50 minutes off, and this movie could have been 2 hours and 10 minutes. And I think I said it in my review, they could have showed the atomic explosion instead of like leaving it up to our imaginations. Like I said, don't show the humans. Just have the camera like in the back and you see the explosion from a distance and just show a little bit of the devastation, and that's it. So I was disappointed with that. And the movie was way too long for my liking for the type of story that they was giving us. But if it was shorter, it would have been higher on my list. But it's still a good movie. It's definitely going to get nominated. But it just should have been a little bit, shorter, and I would have probably given it a better score in my review, and it probably would have been higher on my list. So coming in at number 5 is going to be Oppenheimer. And rounding out number 4 is going to be your boy Tom Cruise with the new Mission Impossible movie. This movie was also good, solid entry in the Mission Impossible franchise. Storyline was pretty good. It was actually, some elements in there that could happen in real life. So that's why I was digging the direction that they went with this movie. Action was pretty good. Fight scenes with Ethan could have been a little bit better, but that's another story for another day. I already told you guys that in my review. So coming in at the number 4 spot is going to be the Mission Impossible movie. And number 3 is going to be your boy Miles Morales with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. There's nothing bad I could say about this movie, man. Spider-Man 2 in this franchise with Miles Morales was such a good movie. My favorite animated movie probably for the year. I don't really see any other animated movie beating this one out. And even though it was an animated movie, it's probably up there in one of the top comic book movies of all time. Like if we did like a top 10, I feel like this got to be in there, like without a shadow of a doubt. If not, it's gonna be in the number 11 spot if somebody was to do top 20. But I feel like top 10, this movie got to be in there. And the cliffhanger at the end, you just can't wait for the third one. So coming in at the number 3 spot is going to be Spider-Man. And then my number 2 movie, we narrowing it down now, people. We got 2 movies left. My number 2 movie was a shocker for me because I initially didn't want to go see this movie whatsoever. And I ended up going to see it. Shout out to Q Reviews. His review really sold me on this movie. So I went to go check out Godzilla, and it's not the best movie of all time, but the reason why it's the number 2 movie for me was because it was shockingly good for what the budget that they had. And the like I said in my review, there definitely could have been at least like one more Godzilla scene with devastation. But I dug this movie so much because of the human side of it. Like the movie was about the human characters and not really focused on Godzilla, like how in the American franchise right now, you don't care about the humans, you don't care about the characters, you just care about Godzilla tearing stuff up. But this movie was the opposite. Like you felt for the characters, and I needed that emotional attachment, and that's what drew me into this movie. And that's why Godzilla Minus One is going to be my number 2. And coming in at the number 1 spot, man, this movie right here is going to pluck at everybody's heartstrings is Iron Claw, man. That's my number 1 movie of the year, man. This movie was so good. Such a tearjerker, tragic, sad story. But Zac Efron and everybody, Jeremy Allen White, everybody did their thing in this movie. There's nothing really negative I can say about this movie, except for Ric Flair wasn't Ric Flairing for me. Like I needed his woos to be a little bit better, the actor that played Ric Flair. But the emotional roller coaster that this movie put me through, and granted, I didn't see every single movie that came out this year, whether it was in the theater or streaming on any type of Netflix, Max, Hulu, etc. But for me, man, this movie was solid, man. There's no way I wasn't going to say that this movie was my favorite movie of the year, like with the storytelling and everything. This movie definitely, like I said in my review, this movie definitely deserves some type of Oscar nod. So with that being said, the Iron Claw is number 1, man, and that's my top 10 movies for 2023. And just a little thing, just in case if some people are confused, just in case if the list is like, oh, this movie got this number, but it's in this place, because certain movies hold more weight depending on the topic, the genre of the movie. So just in case if like anything on the list might have gotten one number in the review, but is placed in this spot on my list, I take into consideration like I said, the style of the movie, the genre of the movie, you know, what type of movie it is, and not to take anything away from animation movies because, you know, they're real movies too. But what's the message behind the movie? How did it affect me emotionally? Did I have emotional connection to the characters? Was it just strictly enjoyable because it was just an action movie? So when I make my top 10 list, that's the stuff that I consider on where I'm going to place my movies at from 1 to 10. An emotional connection with the story and the characters is very, very crucial for me when I make my list. And that's pretty much why Iron Claw is going to be on my number one because the storyline was that good. So yeah, that's my top 10 people. So you guys on the drill. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please hit the subscribe button. After doing that, hit the bell button so you get notified every time I upload a video. And hit that like button. Leave a comment at the bottom. Let me know what your favorite movie of the year is. And I'll see you guys next time. Peace.